Hello, grade 6. Today we are continuing with Nelson Math, chapter 1, section 4, representing patterns on a graph. We're going to be looking at a graph, in this case, a graph that has dots on it, so it's somewhat like a scatter plot. And we're going to see what happens when we graph our data and seeing if it's easier to see the pattern on a graph, like you see here. Li Ming is playing real life. That's a game. She has saved 20,000 tokens and wants to buy furniture for her house. Each piece of furniture costs 2,000 tokens. This graph shows how her savings would decrease if she bought 1, 2, or 3 pieces of furniture. And here's the graph that we're referring to. We have a title for our graph. It says tokens and savings compared to pieces of furniture bought. Here's tokens and savings on the vertical or the y-axis, and pieces of furniture bought on the horizontal or on the x-axis. We don't have every single number on this axis labeled. We have the 0, the 10,000, and the 20,000. However, each one of these little lines that you see is an increase of 2,000 tokens. So this would be 0. That's 2,000 tokens, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, 10,000, and so on all the way up to 20,000. We didn't put it on here because then the graph would have been too cramped, but it is there. It's just not labeled. Along this axis, the horizontal or the x-axis, we have every piece of furniture purchased labeled 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10. Here are the questions we're going to work on. Graph paper makes this kind of a question very easy to label. So let's take a look at what these dots represent. If Li Ming purchases 0 pieces of furniture, which is what she starts with, she would have 20,000 tokens. If she purchases 1 piece of furniture, that 1 piece of furniture which costs her 2,000 tokens, she would have to remove 2,000 tokens from our 20,000. So this dot right here that we're looking at, this tells us how many tokens she has remaining. And even though it's not labeled, we know that this is 18,000 tokens. If she buys 1 more for a total of 2, she has to remove 2,000 tokens again. So 18,000 minus 2,000 is 16,000. If she purchases a 3rd piece, she has to remove another 2,000, which would be right here, and that's 14,000. And we can keep going on down the line to do this. We could label it. Let's look at our questions now. I've copied the questions over here again. And number 1, use the graph to determine how many tokens Li Ming would have if she bought 5 pieces of furniture. So I've gone ahead and I have filled in the rest of the graph. You'll notice that this graph, all the points on this graph appear to be exactly in one straight line. So every time we buy another piece of furniture, we take away 2,000 tokens from our axis on the left. So the question's asking if she bought 5. So that would be right here. If she bought 5, we go up, and this is where the dot is. So if she bought 5, she would have 10,000 tokens remaining. So she would have 10,000 tokens remaining. Letter B. Describe the pattern for the number of tokens Li Ming has left. We can describe this pattern in many different ways. I'm going to give you one example. We can subtract, this is using words. We can subtract 2,000 tokens each time she buys a piece of furniture. However, that is certainly not the only way to describe the piece of furniture compared to the number of tokens she has left. And our part C, how many pieces of furniture can she buy and still have 4,000 tokens? This arrow is representing the 4,000 tokens. So if we look around down all the way across, it's this dot right here. So she can buy 8 pieces. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.